I can't juggle. No, juggling. I'm juggling. Look, I'm juggling. I'm juggling. I'm juggling. Hey, good morning. It's Friday. Oh, I know what I forgot to do. It's Friday, and I don't have any more fortune cookies, but I did find a website on the internet to do Fortune Cookie Friday with. I still might go to the store and do a little live thing at lunchtime or something like that, and go get some fortune cookies and open one up for Fortune Cookie Friday because it's not the same with the website, but we'll still do it. We'll see what the fortune cookie on the internet has to say, and we'll do that during the show. Well, I hope you're doing well today and having some fun. And where did I save that? Oh, I gotta find it. I gotta find it. I gotta find it. Thanks for not being prepared, but I also wanted to do it when I do it, so I won't look at it. So I have no idea what it says. I found the site, went to the site. The site generates a fortune cookie wisdom item on the fly. So we'll see. Anyway, I'm Greg Mester, Scrum Master and Agile Coach, and this is the 5am Mester Scrum Show at 7:32, which is a little bit late because today is trash day. As you all know, I had to make sure I got the trash out, and it's our 277th episode. So we'll have some fun. We'll talk about a couple of things, some things I posted up on LinkedIn lately, and just conversation topic areas I've just noticed. And the two areas we can talk about is one is hybrid and organization versus centralized, decentralized. So centralized organization, decentralized organization, hybrid, and things in between there, and how you might do Scrum and Agile takes on that. My take on that, and because I don't think there isn't really anything. Here's all fluffy. I need a haircut. Where's the boy? Where's Where's my 6-year-old? I need a haircut. Anyway, so we're going to talk about that and how to handle that in a Scrum world, and also talk about some data things, because I've been posting data stuff on my own personal site about data and how people display it and what they do. And people ask, well, what's the big deal about the data not being the same on the site? And we'll talk about that a little bit, just to give an idea. So, centralized versus decentralized. And when I took the picture, I have the ball. So the idea is centralized mothership. So the question was about data operation. A gentleman put up a post on it, and I was just looking at it. And let's say the mothership, centralized data analysis. So the idea is that when you have a data problem, you're in business and you have a data thing, you would send that request out to the mothership, and they would process it and get it back to you. The problem with this, the mothership has no idea what you're using the data for sometimes, and it takes longer to get the information. So then the idea is that you take the mothership and you split it up. I should have brought two balls in here. You make another version of it, or so that's the centralized thinking, right? The mothership is a centralized data repository. The other process is decentralizing, where you take little bits of the mothership and you build little pieces on all the teams. So now, instead of having one giant mothership of data scientists, that each business operation team has their own little data scientists, and they do their own calculations. And a hybrid approach is that you still have the central, but now you have all these little teams floating around with one or two data scientists people on there to support the team. And the hybrid is that they communicate. Now, how do you do that? And there's reasons why you would do one or another, and there's advantages, disadvantages. No matter what you do in this world, it's like the alpha and omega, right? And the chi, right, was it, with that symbol, used in Asian Japanese culture. Yin and yang, right? There's always a balance. So no matter what you do, one part goes down and the other one, there's always an impact somewhere. It's just a question of what you want to do and how you want to do it. And I just want to talk about that a little bit, how that might work. And I got the balls, I drew that, but now I want to show it on whiteboard, right? So I got the whiteboard, big whiteboard. So in a central, You have a big data group. Then you have business over here. A business team over here. And they all go in and back, in and back. So that's a centralized. So all the data people are in the center here, right here, the center people. The decentralized, right? You have a business and data team. You have a business and data team, and you have a business data team. So now this data piece is split among all the teams, right? In a hybrid approach, right? You have a big data mothership. It's like this Death Star. I don't know. And then you have these teams that are business and data, and business and data. And the idea is that these data people talk and they share information. So this is the hybrid approach, right? So this centralized, big data, no data people in the business. Decentralized is where data people are combined with the business people, and a hybrid is where you have business and data teams and a data mothership for your geeky experimental stuff that they can all talk. Now the question is Scrum and Agile, what do you do, right? Can you apply Scrum and Agile to this? Because in Scrum, by the book, everybody should be the same. But in reality, is everybody the same? Is everybody like a super statistician and they know how to do the numbers and they can use AWS and code and do business stuff at the same time? No, ain't gonna happen. You can get better at it and have an understanding lingo and what's possible, which is great on a Scrum team, and you should do that. So how should I envision it? So this is kind of similar, right? Here's what I think. So what are the ceremonies we have? We have a sprint planning, right? Sprint plan. We have daily Scrum. We have a review, and we have a retro, right? We have all those things. Make sure I wear them all the time. I think the daily Scrum still happens in each one of these teams. They do a daily Scrum, right? A DS. So they have their own DS on their plan. If you wanted to, you can use scaled Scrum at scale, and these have their own DSUs, and then the Scrum at scale would be a Scrum at scale, where these people in these meetings or someone would all go to the Scrum at scale meeting, which is another 15 minutes. So this is 15 minutes. So that's an observation. This is getting to be a mess, isn't it? Maybe I should do the other one. It's nice having two little whiteboards. So got the other whiteboard because that one's getting kind of full. I think. So we have the hybrid model, or we have either one. We have the decentralized, and they never talk about. They have their teams. Scrum, each one of those teams. But what do you do in a hybrid? So the real question is the hybrid, which I like the hybrid better, to be honest with you. How do you do it? So you have the big centralized data, and then you have the data and business, and data teams, right? So here's my thought. You could do it either way, depending on what order you want to do it. But I call it sprint planning day for a reason. So you have a sprint planning. And I call it day. Now, each one of these teams plan the work they're going to do, right? So they plan out which ones they're going to do and how they're going to do it, right? So after they have their own sprint planning day or sprint planning session, right? Maybe they have a quick little session via, and this is one of the benefits of the virtual thing we've been doing. That they have a virtual sprint planning day and kind of talk about some of the items that they're going to present. Daily Scrum. Okay, maybe they do an SOS like Scrum at Scale. Do it this way: Scrum at Scale, and maybe these guys go to the Scrum at Scale meeting and they talk about that, right? Demo, which is what I like to see, or the review. So we go sprint review, sprint review. You know, they still have their little sprint review, you know, sprint review, because maybe there's more than one data team in here, right? There's probably actually multiple data teams in here in the central one, depending how big your organization is and what you're actually crunching numbers for. So maybe they do what we talked about the other day. We have a group review of some, like a feature each one. So each team does a combined where they talk about a feature that they built. So then each one would supply a feature to that. It's getting kind of messy again, isn't it? Can't really do much about that. Now, retro. I don't know about retros. Well, here's my thought on the retros. So everyone has a sprint retro, or I'm just going to call it retro. R for retro. Here's an R. So everyone has a retrospective, right? Because that's sprint review, which is the demo. But you're also learning, getting feedback. So I think it's real important to get each one of these customer businesses get their review and have their feedback. But now, how do you do retro? Here's what I would propose. I would do an innovation retro. Maybe this is in combination of the demo. So maybe they do a retro and innovation session. Maybe they don't need to do a retro and a hybrid. Maybe they do. It's every organization where it works. Maybe this sprint review, not the daily scrum, but maybe this sprint review, this feature is actually now a innovation review. So maybe instead of calling a sprint review against the hybrid, it's now an innovation review. Just a thought, an idea, a concept that I came up with. That just ways of looking at it. Where now, you got all those teams spread about. How do you do it? They do different things. Maybe you call it different. You slightly make it different, but you use the same context behind Scrum and apply it to a larger organization. It's kind of why I like Scrum at Scale, because they took Scrum and said, well, what makes sense taking Scrum and how would you apply it to a larger organization? I like the EAT model for Scrum at Scale. Where now, I guess I should write on their EAT. And there's the Meta Scrum for the product. So maybe if I were doing Scrum at Scale, again, so this would be the EAT, and this would be the Meta Scrum. Like that. And the Meta Scrum would be from a data standpoint. So Meta Scrum would be from the data standpoint, where all the product owners are more data centric, and the Meta Scrum is an innovation session. Something to think about. And then I think there's some interchanging. You're not looking to solve world and plan everything out to a T, and I think that's where people get a lot of this stuff wrong. It's just to change ideas and make sure that everybody in the room kind of knows what's going on, and there's no major issues that could collide or cause conflict between the teams. So, kind of what I had on that. It's a little longer. We're down to the end of the show. Maybe I'll do the data thing tomorrow, because we're down to the 53-minute, and then we're going to see what the fortune cookie says. And the fortune cookie says, a different world cannot be built by indifferent people. Say a different, maybe I'll just snap it. Alternate print screen. Where's my print screen? There we go. Print screen. I say a different world cannot. It's awfully long. I like my fortune cookies because whoever writes this writes really big, long things by indifferent. But you know what? It goes right with what we just said. So a different world cannot be built by indifferent people, right? So it says that, right? It says it can't be built by indifferent people. That's just like what we talked about. So if you have a world where all your data people are split among different organizations, and then or they're part of a decentralized organization, they're indifferent. The idea, what I think I just drew up on with the hybrid, is that they're not indifferent to each other. Or maybe the data world, this world doesn't care about this world, right? It's all about this little world, and I don't care about my other world. So if you're in a data-centric, a centralized organization, you're indifferent to all the business side. That's their impression. And if it's all business and decentralized, where the business and data are together, where they got these little guys, they don't care about all the other worlds, right? But a hybrid, they both care about each other because they're forced to talk to each other. So maybe that works out. And with that, I found my thumbs up. Thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a like. Ring the little bell. It's Friday. Happy Friday. Again, I'm going to see if I'm going to go to the store later today and pick up some fortune cookies so we do it, because those fortune cookie lines are kind of long. So, because they can type it. It's a different world, right? Anyway, you all have a great day. Happy Friday. Tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday, we'll be on this show. Every day we do it. So take care. And the trash did go out today on Friday, so it went out in time. All right, take care. Bye. See ya.